Very good evening, all of you. Those who have joined us today at Mentoring the Mentors for an invigorating session on active learning strategies. I welcome today's facilitator for the day, Ms. Arshian. She is from Pakistan and has joined us for today's session. She would be sharing her learning with us, whatever she has, gained, she has learned throughout her teaching journey. About more than 20 years, she has been working in the field of education. I would wholeheartedly welcome her on our platform, Mentoring the Mentors. She
Thank
is
you.
Cambridge and British Council certified leadership core skills trainer. And more about her, I would like to share here. As you can see all on the screen, she is a seasoned and committed educationist. She has been working as an educationist for 20 years. She is a Cambridge certified trainer. She is a British Council certified trainer, a core skills trainer, as well as she is currently serving as a principal. Right, she is a gold medalist in education from Pakistan. She has worked on lead positions at different renowned educational institutes. She is also working as an academic content consultant at Houndbite Technologies in Pakistan. She has got immense experience of school leadership, pedagogy, and her aim is to educate Pakistan, for which she has been established her own platform named Focus Learning and Development. She is a founder and director at Focus Learning and Development, which is actually a training and capacity building institute for the teachers, leaders, and students. And her mantra is be a learner forever. Glad to have you on our platform, Madam Arshian. And about me, you all know very well. I'm working as a principal at Shamford Futuristic K-12 School, Oraiya, Uttar Pradesh. I am founder, director, CEO at Mentoring the Mentors, MSME registered and ISO certified institute, an institute that accelerates your learning curve. We are also focusing on teachers' professional development. I am book certified educator, author level 1, Adobe certified educator level 2, certified digital teacher by ICT Academy. I am MIE Master Trainer, Bansi Ambassador, Wakelet Community Member, and I have completed more than 1,000 sessions, workshops, short-term courses during this pandemic, and that includes Mahatattva trainings and more than 300 hours of learning with CBSE, 125 hours of learning with Cambridge, 200 hours of learning with Microsoft, 100 hours of self-paced learning, and 500 plus hours of learning with other private platforms. And this is how I am continuously working on my learning skills. Today's session, when we will be talking about active learning, right? So what exactly active learning is all about? In active learning, as for me, student learning is at the center, right? And why, when we focus the children's learning at the center, the children, they are at center, and we plan accordingly. May I request the participants, please keep yourself on mute so that there should not be any disturbance while we are communicating, discussing various important topics. And even I would like to say, before I go ahead with active learning, let me launch an an active poll on active learning introduction for you. Let me see how many of you know about this active learning. So I guess the poll is right now in front of your screen. Please do participate. What do you know about active learning? We'll be taking 30 seconds for it, and then we'll end the poll. May I request everybody to take part? Yes. As you see, we begin our lesson. We have previous knowledge testing. We used to activate the previous learning of our students. So we have to be as honest as we can, right? And even we expect the same from our students. Only then we can facilitate the learning in the manner so that the children, they can get the best from us. So 28 have responded. We are having 48 participants. So I request again, all of you, please do take active part in the active poll, because we are already talking about active learning. Yes. So 60% of the participants they have participated in rest are still in inactive mode. I'm going to end the poll now. Okay, quickly, I'm getting more responses. Wow, so it means you are coming to active mode. That's great. Those who have not taken part, please hurry up. 70% of the participants, they have taken part in the poll. And here it is. I mean, the results are there on your screen, right? Most of the participants, 63% of the participants, they say, I know somewhat about active learning, right? I'm really very glad, like 26% are saying, like, I confidently implement active learning in my classroom. That's really great. And we are also looking forward to knowing from you as well, what all strategies you are using in your classroom, right? And 11% are saying, I have never heard about active learning. No problem. We are here today with the expert who will be talking about active learning strategies. So here you go.
Thank you so much, Dr. Meenakshi. So can I share my slides?
Just a minute, ma'am. Just a minute.
Okay.
Right. So we'll be talking about active learning, right? And as for me, students' learning is at the center during active learning, right? It encourages students to think hard and focuses on how students learn, not just what they learn. And it challenges the student thinking as well. So let's see what all things are there with us today that we will be discussing. I mean, Madam Arshian will be discussing with us today. Let me now stop share my screen so that she can go ahead with her screen share and we can know about it. Yeah, ma'am. You may please share the screen.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Meenakshi. Okay, I can't share. It's disabled.
Just a minute. Let me check. I don't think so. I mean, you will be able to do that. Please see.
Let me check again. Yes, it is giving me the same option. Host disabled, participant screen sharing. It's
just a minute. Let me. Yeah, please do that. Do now.
Okay, let me. Yes. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, fine. First of all, as Dr. Meenakshi has already introduced myself, and I wanted to thank her again for inviting me in her prestigious platform, that is Mentoring the Mentors. First of all, as she stated that active learning is an approach, and please, can you all please mute your mic? There's a traffic sound at the background.
Let me mute everybody. Just a minute. Arshian ma'am, you may please unmute yourself and continue with your session. Please unmute yourself.
Okay, fine. Active learning, as we were talking about what active learning is. Active learning is actually when you engage the whole students of your class when they are participating actively. And active learning is an approach to instruction that involves actively engaging students with the course material through discussions, problem solving, case studies, role plays, and other methods. And learning approaches place a greater degree of responsibility on the learner than passive approaches such as lecture, but instructor still crucial in the active learning. So we will, I'm going to share my slide again so that you will be able to see. Okay, I think it's visible, already visible.
Yeah, yes, we can see.
Okay, fine. It was already told by Dr. Meenakshi. Okay, highlights of the session, like how to integrate active teaching and learning approaches in our learning experiences, how teachers can create active learning spaces in the classroom, and how teachers can generate an active and productive discussion in the classrooms. This is what we are going to discuss. Okay, this slide I have made just to discuss with you, like once we talk about active learning, so the first picture where two person are standing, what do you understand by this? What is it actually? Can you use your chat boxes, please?
Yeah, all of you, please to type in the chat box. What do you see in this picture? Yeah, I'll just read out all those collaboration. Yeah.
Before collaboration, there are two persons standing. And
between the partners.
Yes, the bond between the partners, friends.
The teamwork.
Teamwork, correct. They're in the same pace. Okay. Sharing.
Yeah.
Agree. That's great. Joint efforts. Excellent. Okay, that is actually the relationship. To bring some sort of activities in the class, to bring the interaction in your class, the relationship with your student is the most important part, like how you are going to build your rapport with your students. And then comes collaboration, that how you are going to engage them in collaborative activities and the groups. And the third thing that I have used is actually the SOTL. What is SOTL? SOTL is actually, we do believe in what's called SOTL. If there is one thing I'd like you to think about me now and in the future is the funky acronym SOTL, which stands for the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning actually, and for what it's worth. There is this guy, Anders Born. He came out with a book called Scholarship Reconsidered, and he defines scholarship in 4 ways. The scholarship discovery, which we do a lot of here, that's traditional scholarship, but also the scholarship of application, integration, and the scholarship of teaching and learning. And in its simplest forms, what this is finding a way to take your current research methods, to take those and use those same methodologies in exploring your teaching. So, and you do is every day. For example, you may admit to it that you are driving home after the class, after the school, and you are thinking, why didn't that work? The strategy that I used in the class, why didn't that work? Why did that work? You know, I did because you knew it, that you did it last time a year ago and it was perfect, but for some reason it fell flat. That's the scholarship of teaching, fine. And it's in release from what we try to help you do is we take that help you develop some instruments to gather some data that are reliable and consistent, and maybe write that up as a white paper, a blog, or it can be anything, or even they can be the publications that you write, fine. So play with a lot of things and see how it works, and then we try to share that with folks so that you don't have to make the same mistakes over and over again. So there is one thing that you leave from my point of view, SOTL will be kind of an umbrella philosophy for the center, because it envelopes everything that we are about. And we want to try to help engagement and teaching, but we also want to find out how that worked. Did it work? And what were the steps that worked, right? And so SOTL will be actually one way that can help you in different methods, fine. And there may be many ways to be an effective teacher. So you will hear me talking about lecture today. You will hear me talk about engaged learning today. What I love about this position is that it's challenging to work with the students across disciplines, being a teacher. with their own individual philosophies and needs, and I can try to provide some things that it might be able to enhance some more skills amongst us. Fine. That was the sortal. Now, the other thing that I wanted to share, 3 screws of learning. Whenever we are going to learn something, so I believe that whatever we are listening something good, you should note that down. And then when you note it down, just do not keep a note. You need to share it with everyone. Because once you share something, you always remember it and you retain it in your memory and then apply it in your practical life. Until unless you apply, you will not be able to practice that. So these are the 3 screws of learning. Like one is note taking, the second is sharing, and third is how you are going to apply it, because practice makes the person perfect. Now, from dependence to independence, the journey in the classroom, the journey in the school is actually whether it's for the students, whether it's for the teacher, even whether it's for the heads or the principals, it is from dependence to independence. The classroom should be independent. The classroom should not be teacher controlled or dependent learner. The classroom should be independent, and we should produce actually self-directed learners. And we can actually do this by using active learning and by use different interactive teaching strategies that actually create the environment of active learning in your classrooms. Okay, now there's a picture. I have a question. What do you see in the picture? What do you assume? Just use the chat box.
An elephant on the chairs.
No, use the chat box, please. Otherwise, there are so many participants, everybody will start speaking, so there will be a noisy class, you know.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. Elephant in the class. Yes, elephant is in the class, but what do you presume from it? Now, what do you get it? Teacher as a leader. Oh God, make balance. Okay. What else? I think there are more than 40 participants, so there should be more than 40. Think big. There's a whiteboard. Just pay more attention. Okay, think out of the box, something different in teaching. There's a whiteboard. There are chairs in the classroom, and the elephant is standing between the whiteboard and the chairs. Now think from that perspective. Okay, teacher centered. Teacher assumed to be powerful. Okay, coming barrier. Abdullah, excellent. Asma Bano, excellent. Okay, a big barrier. Now what terms? Curiosity. Okay. In what term you think it's a barrier? Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, now see, there is an elephant in the classroom, in the room actually. Now see this picture and just observe what is going on. Elephant is sitting between the teachers and the students. And what is going on at the back of the elephant? Destructive barrier between student and teacher. I think teacher is unable to concentrate to back student. Yes, Miraj, you're right. Who else give this perspective? Children are hidden. Yes, excellent. Distraction. Yes, Jyoti, right. Try to understand but didn't understand. Yes, there are so many factors. So that elephant is actually the obstacle that teachers do not pay attention on. Fine. And that can be your poor lesson planning. That can be not including active learning strategies in your class, in your lesson plans, and not paying attention on what level of the students you are teaching in the classrooms and how you are going to bring metacognition in your class. Yes. Students are doing several things at the back. Teacher is not paying attention. He or she is really careless. He is busy and continuously teaching. And that is actually the distraction. And there's a gap, communication gap, and interaction gap, and engagement gap between the teachers and the students. And that is actually the elephant in the room. So what are the parts of the elephant in the room? Maybe students do not know the alphabets, can't read, doesn't understand English word, teachers don't know, there's no questioning is there, and only the class is actually teacher-centered class. And that is actually. Now my question is, why be active? Okay, we have identified like what are the reasons, fine, being like why there should not be an elephant in the classroom.
Arshian ma'am, sorry to intervene. Actually, there are some responses at YouTube as well. Somebody has written like teacher is facing the board and not knowing what is she teaching, and maybe whether the whatever she's teaching, whether that is reaching to the students or not. So that is a
Exactly.
big barrier between
Yes.
students and teachers.
Exactly. And I have observed many of the teachers in the same condition that they are busy in teaching whether students getting or not, whether students are paying attention or not. And there are several students actually the backbenchers, what we call actually in Pakistan as well, that should be paid attention. Fine. Now there's a question, why be active in the class? What is the reason? Why should we be active? Actually, it's a strategy when the physical workshop is going on. So we have some sort of papers, we have some sort of activity that we actually inculcate in our classrooms regarding this. I'm just asking, why should we be active in that class? There are several reasons that we are going to discuss to make our class more effective. Yes, yes, Zainab, you're right. To learn and observe happy learning, correct? For effective learning, correct? Take the strengths from unknown to know. Yes, involvement, right. Okay, what does ATL research says? Just have a glance on this. There's a secret acronym, it's unknown, it's very clear that active engaged learning can enhance, can benefit many things about teaching and learning. So keep in mind that the three things we always look for are knowledge, skills, and dispositions, you know. Again, I'm repeating knowledge, skills, and dispositions. If we look at this slide, ATL means active teaching learning. Research, it was done by Freeman. It was a study by Freeman, came in 2014, and it was a meta-analysis of 225 studies that learning outcomes improved where faculty do anything other than lecture. Fine. So other than lecture, what things should be there? We need to actually integrate this. We need to actually know that how we are going to integrate knowledge skills, how we are going to develop knowledge skills and dispositions. So how can it increase their knowledge, their skills and their disposition? This particular study you probably are familiar with because it came out fairly recently in 2014, as I just said, by Freeman. This is kind of used over and over again. And I intentionally use this because I would just call it lecturing versus non-lecturing. And then we can debate and talk about what lecturing really means. But obviously they found some really nice gains. You know, 1.5 times more a higher achievement. So that means something within looking at the difference between the treatment group and the controlled group. Fine. So now we are going to see one more slide. I have just talked about it. Fine. When lecturing 1.5 by, more likely to fail than with AL, improvement is strategically significant. Okay. So ATL says active learning is any learning activity engaged in a classroom by students other than listening passively to an instructor's lecture. That the picture I just showed you. So what is active learning? You can see that graph, like if the teaching is going on and if you want to retain the attention and if you want to retain that attention from the students, if you're doing active learning in the classroom, the engagement will sustain. It will be between more than 50%, it will be more than 60%, fine. But if you're lecturing, it will drop actually. The interest of the students will drop. Fine. In the beginning, it happens that the interest will rise, but with the pace of time as you go along with your lecture, So this will happen. So what is lecture? Actually, what happens that again, we'll say that lecture, like what is lecture? And this is a comment from a faculty I heard that I've heard actually many times when we start to say, oh, lecture's terrible. So we call it lecture like that. And then faculty who lecture feel kind of a bad, and I'm like, oh, I'm a bad teacher. And then somebody comes back and says, so what I actually do is this, I have these series of short lectures and they are broken up to get students thinking, talking and doing. And I'll basically argue with them that you are not lecturing at all. You are doing some of these things that is actually thinking, talking and doing. This is actually not a lecture. When I say lecture, when you say lecture, when you hear lecture, it's not necessarily good or bad. I mean, we are not going to put an evaluation on that. It can be very effective or it can sometimes be ineffective. Fine. So ATL categories. So actually there was Dr. J.S. Hargis. He worked and he researched for the past 20 years on this. And he actually developed 288 active learning strategies. And that was the category on which he actually created those. Instructor action, student action, icebreakers, anticipation activity, background knowledge props, games, interaction through homework, student questions, role play, and student presentation. Fine. Okay. When the teacher goes in the classroom, he or she should have a toolbox. So what should be there in the toolbox? Every teacher must have a bank of active teaching and learning strategies. That is actually a toolbox. Every teacher should have it. Most of the teacher in local schools, even in Pakistan, because I'm from Pakistan, I have observed that most of the teachers do not know about many teaching strategies. If we ask them what is actually the teaching strategy that you have integrated in your SLO, so they say that brainstorming. That is actually a very common teaching strategy that everybody knows. But there are more. Yes, SD lectures not only fine. Thank you for your participation. Sample ATL, from those 288 strategies, I have taken out these because they are the most popular ones. That was created by, that was actually developed and worked by Dr. J.S. Hargis. Reciprocal teaching, student response system, 1-minute paper, think, pair, share, Matthias point, concept map, and storyboarding in commercial. And we are going to actually connect each one to another. Fine. That's excellent. Okay. The next is reciprocal teaching. I think many of you have heard about it and many of you must have not heard about it. Reciprocal teaching is actually a reading practice based on the foundational skills introduced through guided reading, in addition to the use of scaffolded talk between a teacher and a group members or group members with each other to develop and support comprehension. Whatever you're teaching in your classroom, it can be from your English book, it can be from your Pakistan studies book, it can be from your geography book, history book. Fine. Students who practice in this practice are encouraged to read, talk, and think their way through the text actually. Fine. And you must have read the slide. This is actually the pattern how you are going to implement in the classroom. You have to give a chunk of a paper, chunk of a paragraph to the students, and you have to divide students into 4. Like one group should be of 4 students. One is going to be a summarizer. The second is going to be a questioner. The third is going to be a predictor. And the fourth is going to be a clarifier. Fine. So you have to assign these roles to the students to perform this activity. Fine. And this is actually a 4 steps process. This is a 4-step process in which the students are divided into groups of 4. One student is assigned a responsibility of being a summarizer. I just told you questioner, clarifier, and predictor. How to use this strategy? Student read a chunk of text silently and simultaneously that you provide. Fine. the same chunk should be given in that one group. The summarizer speaks first of all, and then the questioner asks the question, then clarifier or other response, and then the predictor says what will come next. Teacher asks them to read silently the chunk, next chunk, and they begin again. Now think how much they are going to learn from each other by assigning the roles. The teacher is not doing anything. The teacher is actually a co-learner. We actually believe now teachers are not only facilitators only in the classrooms. They are co-learners, they are co-researchers, they are co-participant with the students in the class. So class is completely student-centered when they are going to do such things. Now, what should be the steps for conducting reciprocal teaching lesson? The student who is the summarizer summarizes the text. The questioner then asks 1 or 2 questions related to the text that found difficult to understand. And the clarifier and then explains the difficult part of his group members. And then the predictor guesses what will happen in the next passage. And the next passage actually was not given to the student. You can take the paragraphs, you can get it photocopied, you can actually cut it off and distribute amongst the students so they will not see the next paragraph, and it will be easy for them to predict what will happen next. And their higher thinking order skills will improve a lot. Their comprehension will improve, their reading will improve, their speaking skills will improve, find their communication skills will improve. And you can make sit the weaker, actually we do not believe the word term weaker students, struggling student. You can make sit every student is intelligent, but it depends on the teacher, how the teacher drives the students. So the struggling student and the best student, you can make them sit together to make them work on this activity. Okay, now we are going to talk about this student response system. This isn't very old technique, student response systems. We actually want to know what was imagined that in the student's head, right? I would ask when I go to class, any question? Famous any question, you know? Or does everybody get that? This is actually, you are triggering them. You are actually posing a question, fine. And student response system is a tool actually that instructors can use to receive immediate feedback on teaching and learning and promote active learning. Sometimes referred to as classroom response system, clickers, or personal response systems, but typically refer to a handheld device called a clicker. But it also includes note cards. You can.
Ma'am, I guess we have lost your voice.
Okay, am I clear now?
Participants, can you hear me? You may raise your hand or you may type in the chat.
Yes, both are audible, ma'am.
Yes.
Please continue.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So sometimes refer to a classroom response system. Okay. So as I told you that note cards can be used in the class, sticky notes can be used in the class, phones can be used. What I see that teachers and schools do not allow phones in the classroom. Actually, teachers are not confident enough to handle this situation. If teachers design such kind of an activity that can be integrated in the classroom using cell phone, so it can be controlled easily that the cell phone is going to be used in a right way, and the computers as well. So student response systems are used in smaller, larger classrooms to facilitate attendance recording, engaging student in lectures, ensure key points are understood, whatever you're teaching, give low stakes, or a way to ask students' opinion or attitude that they might not normally share comfortably. So it will be easy for them to share by these activities, because many students are hesitant to share the things in the classroom, though they know the points. But these type of activities allow them to share anything, whatever they want. So types of question asked can range from multiple choice, true, false, numerical answer and short answers, to matching, clicking on an image or drawing, using the responses. And a teacher may move on with the material, provide more instruction if students are not meeting a learning goal. A jump start a decision based on their responses, actually, whatever the responses you get. And the possibilities are endless, since student response system can be used in conjunction with other teaching tools. Think, pair, share, peer instruction, or jigsaw activity. So as I told you that there's a connection between all activities you can use in that way. Fine. So that was the part, and that is actually the really there will be actually of course active learning in the classroom if you are going to use such tools or the strategies in the classroom. So as I told you, there should be a tool in the classroom. One student, one paper, 1 minute paper, sorry. Participants write for 1 minute for a specific question. पहले मैं इसको explain कर देती हूँ, and then we are going to have an activity with you. Fine, I am going to explain. Actually, a 1 minute paper is simply that students are given 60 seconds, actually 1 minute, either at the end of a section of work or at the end of a lecture period, to jot down on paper some anonymous responses to an aspect of that day's class session, whatever you have taught, whatever the lesson was delivered. So they drop these responses into a box at the front of the class. You can put the box over there, and whatever the responses they have written on the chat, they can put it in that, which you then take to your office or the staff room. Then you read the responses to get a sense of what the student have learned, where there might be gaps in their knowledge, what aspects of your teaching practice they are responding to, and so on. So the function of this exercise is solely to get a dipstick measurement that you can respond to in a subsequent class session by email or on a blackboard or by through their notebooks. Bearing in mind that the students only have 1 minute to write a response, you might provide prompts like the following. These instructions can be followed in the class, like write down the 3 key things you learned in today's lecture, or in your own words, tell me what you understand by this, by that term, by that description whatsoever. And what was the most confusing point in today's class? How useful was the group exercise that we did in class today? Please give details. Or a yes or no answer does not help you much. So it is a good idea to word your question so that it elicits as much detail as possible in your classrooms. So now there is a question for you. It's a 1 minute paper activity. Are you all ready? If you're ready, just say yes in the chat box. Excellent. Great. Okay. Now there's a question appearing on the screen, and that is actually about what changes can I make in my course or the lesson, you can just consider as a lesson as well, to increase student engagement. You have only 1 minute, and I am just looking at the wall clock. Your time starts now. You can use a chat box, and the people who are using YouTube, they can write in the comment section. Wow, excellent. 20 seconds are remaining, and there are so many feedback. Excellent. 5 seconds. Time is up. Stop. Time is up. Excellent. Excellent responses I just received. So many responses. That's great. That's great. That was actually a good. Ask them to make notes or summary of my teaching. Give the students choice whenever possible. I can include tech tools to engage and interest them. Okay. Taking feedback, use some interactive videos, designing questions for discussion. Content can be taught in playway method, videos, collaborative learning, activities, group activity. We should add interactive. Excellent, excellent. By quizzes, MCQs, crosswords, more other activities. Excellent. Make interactive teaching. Concentrate on each child. Excellent. Thank you so much for your response. That was actually 1 minute you can do in your class and see how as you are going to engage with me, even we are online, we are virtual, just think when you are with the students, how much they are going to show their interest. And they will be actually showing their high interest towards the lesson you are going to teach. Fine. So this is how you can actually bring the interest in your class. That's great. Okay, now second is think, pair and share. Now, whatever you have asked in 1 minute paper, fine, that was actually the activity 1 minute paper. The same answer can be integrated into this activity. At times, you can use 2 or 3 activities in your classroom. Whatever the answers or responses you received from the students in 1 minute paper, now you are going to ask the students reconsider a concept, then compare possible ideas with the partner before sharing broadly. So find a partner and each take 1 minute to share yours and 1 minute paper idea. This is how they are going to do. Fine. So the same activity of 1 minute paper can be linked with think, pair, share. Whatever the child has written, they reconsider a concept in what that was written in the 1 minute paper and then compare possible ideas. Fine. And then it can be like think and then pair with the partner and then share with the whole class. This is how you are going to, if we talk about like what kind of activity, many of the teachers know about it because it's been used by several teachers across the board. But it is, I am going to explain it again. It is actually a collaborative learning strategy where students work together to solve a problem or answer or a question about an assigned reading, whatever the reading or the responses came. This strategy requires students to think individually about a topic or answer to a question and share ideas with classmates. And discussing with the partner maximizes participation, actually focuses attention and engages students in comprehending the reading material. Fine. So it helps a student to think individually about a topic or answer to question. It teaches a student to share ideas with classmates and build oral communication skills. And this think, pair, share helps focus attention and engage students in comprehending the reading material. Fine. Now we are coming towards the fourth one, that is muddiest point. So like the 1 minute paper, but ask a student to identify the confusing point instead. The responses you received in 1 minute paper, and then they did activity on think, pair and share, they related and they discussed. In think, pair, share, actually they did a collaborative work. Okay, there was a pair and the same 1 minute paper response was discussed in think, pair, share. Now you can ask the student to actually clear their confusion by sharing with each other. Fine, like the 1 minute paper, but ask them to identify, you can ask them to identify any point, whatever the confusion they had in that, fine. So muddiest point is a quick monitoring technique. You can even monitor by this technique or strategy how much the student understood, in which the students are asked to take a few minutes to write down the most difficult or confusing part of a lesson, lecture, or reading. Fine. And after reading a colleague one, you can ask child to use 1 minute paper, write points that may be confusing. That's all. Now concept map. That was actually introduced by Novak, 1984. You can see the picture, how students are working, how it is going to be used by the students in the classes. A concept map is actually a visualization of knowledge. Whatever the students have understood in their classrooms, from the lesson, from the activity, from the strategy, from whatever you have taught, that is organized by them in the relationships between the topics. Fine. And as its core, it is made of concepts that are connecting together by lines or arrows that are labeled with the relationship between the concept. And these concepts are usually found in circles or boxes. And concept maps are a cross-disciplinary active learning technique that helps students manage concept into sub-concept and synthesize information actually. So concept maps can summarize a part of a book, connect historical events, describe how the book works. Concept map may be used as a pre-class assignment, a small group activity, whole class activity, or a way to summarize the information at the end of a class or a project. Or instead of reading explanations from students, concept maps provide a way to quickly look through a students' thinking process and understanding the concept. This is actually the most important part of the class. Fine. So how to use a concept? How can you use it actually in your classroom? You need to model how to identify the major ideas or concept present in a selection of text as you read. Organize the ideas into categories. Use lines or arrows on the map to represent how ideas are connected to one another, a particular category, and or the actually the map concept, and different colors can be used for that. Fine. Brainstorming can be done before using concept map of complex ideas. Fine. So explicit integrating new or old knowledge can be probed. Then you are going to assess and diagnose, and they are going to utilize their information. Write one term, post it related to technology. You can ask the students, you can distribute some of the sticky notes in the classroom, and you can ask them to write anything regarding technology. Find the word, the term you have given technology, they will write on that, and then you can ask them to stand up. They will stand and then they will move towards the board. Fine, as you can see the picture. And then the whole class, all the students of the classroom will take their notes and will actually put it on the board in the right direction, and then they develop map with new post-its. Fine, this is how you are going to utilize your classrooms, and they will enjoy a lot, and there will be a very high interaction amongst your students in that case. But before that, teacher needs to do it, because these you are going to expert in it once you are going to practice yourself first. Fine. Okay, now we are going to talk about commercial. Commercial means I'm going to talk about storyboard and commercial. In small groups in the class, 3 or 4 students in a group, create a storyboard for a commercial. And what is actually storyboard? First of all, we are going to discuss about it. The storyboards teaching strategy helps students keep track of a narrative's main ideas and supporting details by having them illustrate the story's important scenes, actually, as you can see in the picture. And storyboarding can be used when texts are read aloud or when students read independently. Fine, this is how the storyboard can be utilized in the class. And once they do it, you can ask them to create a commercial on that. Okay. So these were some of the strategies that I wanted to share with you guys. Dr. Meenakshi, are you there?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. I'm here. Very well.
Okay.
Here.
And any other question that anyone wants to ask? Because I'm done with my presentation.
Yeah, dear participants, if you have any queries, any questions related to what all Arshian ma'am has explained related to active learning strategies, please do go ahead with that. And because
I can provide you this slides myself. As if someone wants the PPT, it can be provided to them through.
Yeah, sure you can, and I will share it across. I mean, they will be filling the feedback form. So on those email IDs, we will be sharing it with them. So if you have any queries, yeah, Zainab ma'am, we will be sending. Arshian ma'am is so generous to share the presentation with you. And even you can always go through the video recording as well. That is there on YouTube. It will be there. Okay, you can always go through that. What all insights she has shared with all of you, various strategies about active learning. That is really a great strategy. I mean, ma'am has already shared with you some of the assessments for learning techniques as well. right? So when it comes to assessment for learning, it is there are a number of strategies, right, for active learning strategies, for assessment for learning. Some of the things like ma'am has already explained, like you have already participated in 1 minute paper. We used to call it jam papers, just a minute papers, right? And how did we incorporate in our class? Usually either we use them as entry and exit ticket activities. We used to give a slip of papers to our students, maybe dividing this A4 size sheet into 4 parts, and we used to give it to our students, and that is blank, and they used to give their learning they share with us. It can be share your sunny or maybe muddy point from the chapter that we have discussed from the content, or it may be always 2 roses and a thorn, and a positives and as well as a negative. And we have plus and minus strategies also, that I guess in my school also teachers are also using these kind of strategies. We have already shared with them. And other things that I would like to share, adding on to what Arshan ma'am is already given you a lot of information about active learning. And here I would just like to add on something, like for example, she has very well explained the concept of this concept mapping and all, how it is to be done. I mean, you may, whatever you are teaching, ask your children to give one word related to a particular concept. Maybe it is generally you are talking about photosynthesis, right? Simplest topic, and the children, they are giving their ideas maybe on slips of paper, maybe in their physical classroom they are writing on a board, maybe they are putting their chits on the display board, or maybe right now we are having online classes. You can wonderfully use Padlet, that is freely available tool, and in that Padlet there is concept mapping available. Let the children post their responses over there, and through connections you can show how it is working, right? And this is how you can use this concept mapping strategy. Like for example, every child will be giving one word each. Maybe they are writing, okay, green leaves, they're writing chlorophyll, they are writing oxygen, carbon dioxide, how it is related to each other, that you need to facilitate the learning, how it will be working, right? Okay, and another thing ma'am was talking about.
Sorry, Meenakshi, I am just interrupting you. I just wanted to ask the participants as well that if you know more of the activities, kindly do share, because there are several activities regarding that. There was one that Venn diagram is one of the strategy, jigsaw activity. And there is one more like using whiteboard as a thinking space. That is one of the most important activity in the classroom. If they have, thank you, Vikas. Thank you so much. And if you have, if anyone wants to share how to use Venn diagram in the classroom, so please go ahead. They can unmute their mic and do share.
Yeah, wonderful. And even here, I would like to share my screen. I suppose my screen is visible. Just wanted to share something with all of you.
And if anyone wants me to explain Venn diagram, so after you share, I can share these.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. We can. So here we were talking about what exactly active learning is. Ma'am has already explained very well, and you know about various active learning strategies also now. I mean, you got to know, like, we do not only teach the students like what is to be, understood by them. We focus on how are they learning. We focus on, their thinking abilities. We want they should think hard. Various strategies we adopt, like to make them think hard. And here I want to add on, because I have already completed a 1.5 month diploma on active learning, right? Would like to share some of the insights with you. That is my learning, how I am incorporating that in my teaching and learning. It is actually based on theory of constructivism. Like the learners, they construct, they build their own understanding. It's not like teacher-centered. Teacher is always doing like saying, instructing, do this, do that, or maybe follow her instructions religiously, maybe blindly. It is not like that. It is actually making meanings, right? When the children, they are actively involved, they are thinking, they are sharing their learning with you. So this is how active learning is. Okay, they are analyzing the information, they evaluated themselves, and they synthesize various kinds of ideas. I guess all the teachers by now must have attended a session on Bloom's taxonomy and lesson planning by CBSE. They have conducted it several number of times. When we always talk about the top level, the creation level, right? How do we reach there? When we analyze, when we construct and all, okay, when we evaluate, I mean, through following these steps, we reach the highest level, that is a creation level. So this is how the objective of active learning is, achieving the higher order skills of Bloom's taxonomy. Benefits of active learning, we can understand it very well. I mean, it makes the children the lifelong learners and encourages success. How it encourages success? When the children, they become lifelong learners and they achieve small milestones, right? And the milestones, they are also developed by them. Like they have their short-term targets. I have to do this, and then they achieve that thing, and that gives them intense satisfaction and pleasure, right? It encourages success. And active learning, no doubt, it is highly engaging and intellectually exciting. It evaluates and synthesizes ideas, and students, they take a central role in their own learning. And I already mentioned even in my yesterday's promo about today's session, we will be talking about some of the misconceptions as well. Active learning is all about doing a particular activity. Sometimes we may confuse it with that. Sometimes we may think like if we have assigned some work to the students, maybe they are sitting in a group, they are making some project work. I mean, the project definition is also different. I mean, sometimes we think they are making something, they are drawing out of some, they're doing some craft work. That is a project. Actually, that is not, we are talking about project-based learning, right? So if we give this kind of work, we think we have actively involved the student. That is a misconception. And sometimes we confuse the same with inquiry-based learning, right? And inquiry-based learning, though it is a part of active learning. You see, in inquiry-based learning, students, they have, first of all, their questions developed. Maybe they developed on their own, or maybe they develop the same under the guidance of their teacher, and then they inquire to get the answers of those questions, maybe those problems they try to solve, right? So inquiry-based learning is a small part that comes under the big umbrella of active learning. And sometimes we also confuse, like we think maybe it is taking away the teacher's influence. But I would like to say teacher's role is increased over here. As ma'am has already shared, like teachers have to develop various kinds of strategies. We need to think when and where we need to apply this kind of strategy. Maybe entry and exit ticket activity, maybe concept mapping we are talking about, jam, just a minute papers we are talking about, or I mean, which term is to be given to them so that they can develop on their own, they can go for research, right? And these kind of things here, teacher's role is increased. It's not like the teacher is always on the side on this and this active-based learning. And another is complete change of teaching style in the classroom layout. Like you know very well from the whole presentation that has been discussed with you, like we have never ever talked about maybe you need to entirely, I mean, change your teaching style. We are not talking about upside down and maybe the changing the entire classroom layout. Yes, sometimes we always change the classroom layout. We make them sit in small groups, right? We change the classroom scenario when we have to go for groups, discussions and all. So here we always keep on changing, like otherwise it will always, it will look monotonous, right? So it's like that. So there are some misconceptions, and these actually, I would like to say these were the learning objectives, and now must be, you will be able to understand by the end of this session, like how to integrate active teaching learning approaches in your learning experience, and how to involve these kind of activities, incorporate these activities in our teaching learning strategies, in our lesson planning, in our classrooms, and creating active learning spaces, right, through a number of strategies, and generate an active and productive discussion. So this is what I just wanted to talk about, like with all of you. Ma'am has also shared with you. If you have still any of the questions,
I want to say,
you may share.
Ashim
Ma'am, just a minute. Arshan ma'am, just a minute. As ma'am has already shared with you, I mean, comic board as well. I mean, comics can be created. For this digital platform, I would like to say if you want to go for comic creation, there are two, I mean, there can be more platforms as well, but I have explored two platforms. One is Book Creator. There you can create wonderful storyboards, comic books. That is a Book Creator. We have already had a session on that. And another is please do explore Storyboard that. I'll share the link with you. Please explore. That is a wonderful platform and even is being used by CBSE as well, right? CBSE, most of the schools in collaboration with CBSE, they have started developing various kinds of comic books for the students across all subjects, across all grades. It is not talking about, I mean, junior children. I mean, if you are going to talk about Ohm's law, if you are talking about electricity and all other things, maybe talking about, you can teach them through comics, right? I will be sharing with you in this chat or maybe in your feedback link, right? Along with the certificate, we'll be sending that as well. Various links for that. Please do explore that. And Arshan ma'am, you may please go ahead now.
Achha, there is a question from Sumaira Latif. She is saying that how to use Padlet during a Zoom class. Sumaira, actually, you need to create Padlet first, okay? And then you can share its link in the Zoom chat, or you can send it via WhatsApp. Or if you want to show the wall of that Padlet, so you can do the screen sharing as well. But if you want students to submit any assignment or upload any assignment on the Padlet, so you need to share that link that you have copied. So you just need to paste it into the Zoom chat box, or you can share it via email or a WhatsApp, whatever the easier medium for you to share it. But before that, do try a Padlet first yourself, because you can change the title, whatever the lesson or the topic is there, and then you can write the description, what is it for? And then there is a link given below that in the middle, you will find out in the setting area, just copy and paste and just give it to the student. This is how you're going to use a Padlet. And I really encourage the teachers, because in my school, all of the teachers, 99.9 teachers in my heads are using Padlet for several things, even the homework, the attendance and everything. Okay, one thing I wanted to share over here, that as you were talking about the benefits and all, one more benefits are there of active learning includes, like an active approach to learning will lead to more time on task. If students are engaged in learning by doing rather than observing, they will be occupying their minds and bodies in the task to provide a more immersive experience. And they're also more likely to reach a flow state in which they are fully immersed in their own learning, actually. This is what we believe. And if active learning may also prevent boredom, which further supports motivation and engagement throughout the learning process. And if you are going to talk about one more point, you were saying in the classroom that there is no need to change the layout, and in the same layout you can expand your skills. The thing is that it is usually said that come out of the comfort zone. I've heard listening many of the people this golden words, like come out of the comfort zone. But what I believe, this is my personal perspective. Okay, your perspective can be changed. I think that be in your comfort zone and just expand it. Fine. When you are going to expand your own comfort zone, you are going to include so many things in that. You can utilize your own comfort zone by expanding it and utilizing in more productive way, rather coming out of the comfort zone, because coming out of the comfort zone is not easier task all the time. Teacher cannot come out of that comfort zone all the time again and again. If they are in the comfort zone, so expand it and bring more strategies, lesson methodologies, and the active learning strategies into it. And you can actually teach in a very well way in your classroom, and engage and interact with your students while you are teaching online or physically. Okay.
Yes, all of you. I guess you all have filled in the feedback form. I have shared in the chat box. please do fill in the feedback form, and accordingly we will be sending you the PPT as ma'am will be sharing with us, so that you can go through that, and the YouTube link as well if you do not have. Otherwise also it has been shared with you. Thank you so much for this lovely and friendly Park India learning match.
This
Indeed,
is what I
wonderful
was
session. It
also,
was much
Dr. Meenakshi.
appreciated. Hina ma'am has
Thank
written.
you. Yes, that's great. Thank you.
See, these are the boundaries created by us.
Exactly.
Actually, see, everywhere we on this our platform, we invited from Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and somebody was there from Nepal. She would also, then she became busy and we had to cancel the session. And from Indonesia, from Armenia. I mean, you see, when we meet each other, when we talk to each other, when we listen to each other, we get to know, yes, this is what, I mean, we have been working for a noble cause of quality education, right? This is our responsibility. This is the duty given to us. And we should really thank God, Allah, Vaheguru. I mean, whatever we say, I mean, these are the terms given by us, right? That one God, right? So, I mean, that responsibility has been given to us. So we have to do this really at our level best, providing the best to the students. I mean, I even would like to add one thing. The pace at which this education field has observed this change, this serendipity, I mean, it was so fast, so amazing, and overnight. And this would never be slow now. I mean, we should not think like maybe this is like that, and maybe we will not be having changes soon. We will be having more and more changes. Change is indeed the only constant. And we, if want to bring this kind of change, we have to change ourselves.
It was actually,
and ma'am has shared these wonderful strategies. Please do use these strategies, and we would be glad if you will be sharing your learning with us by implementing the same in your classroom. Yes, ma'am. Arshian, ma'am.
And you know that this pandemic, actually, I call it a blessing in a disguise that has actually changed the whole perspective of teaching in these 2 years. So they have utilized several technology mediums in their classrooms and all that. And one more thing I wanted to share over here, that Dr. Meenakshi is going to come on our page as well from the Pakistan's platform, that is Focus Learning and Development, as I have already invited her. So I'm also waiting desperately and wanted to learn from her as well. That is actually going to be on artificial intelligence, as she's really expert in that. And I was really impressed once I took her international platform and international presentation. And this is what we were discussing actually. So Hina Iqbal, the comment you said, just Indo-Pak relationship becomes more grateful and create amazing environment in our education system. Yes, you are right. Thank you so much, Dr. Meenakshi, for inviting me on your platform.
Thank you, Arshan ma'am. Actually, you really made our day, and it's not a day, actually forthcoming days as well. When all the teachers, they will be implementing these strategies, and they will be having a lot of, I mean to say, a great transformation in their teaching and learning, and would be getting a great feedback from the students. And all the teachers who have joined us, and my team is already there, and everybody is there from my school as well. And please make sure you use these strategies and share your learning with us, so that we can share all these pictures, learnings with Arshian ma'am as well. Like with her guidance, we will be able to make a great change.
Exactly. We'll be really happy if we are going to see the outcomes of this workshop, actually. Not workshop, but training, whatsoever it was. But we are going to see the benefits and the outcomes, how you are going to utilize in your classrooms, actually. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Thank you, all of you.
There are so many people from Pakistan as well, from my school and from Focus platform and the other platforms as well.
Yes, great. And there is so, I mean, I could read so much wonderful, so many thoughts were there in the chat as well on YouTube, and I have replied to them also. It's just a wonderful interaction with all of you. Thank you, all of you, for joining us at Mentoring the Mentors. Thank you very much, Arshian ma'am, for sparing your valuable time. And I know that you have been so busy taking sessions on various platforms on various topics. We are and we will always be grateful to you. Right? Thank you. Thank you, all of you. And again, I would like to remind, please, if you have